Hi, Rie.
Hi, Yaco.
How are
Good to
you
see you.
today? Nice to see you. So
Doing okay.
cool. So today we're gonna chat. So the following sutra from the last week. So last week we talked about the Yoga Sutra Nirodha, which is kind of yoga's goal. And they say so if you calm down of your ripple in your mind, then that's the goal of yoga. And also the goal of yoga is kind of more deep connection to true self. So today, Yoga Sutra first pada, which is chapter number 5, and there are 5 kinds of mental modifications which are either painful or painless.
Yeah. So when we were doing our yoga training, I recall that this was kind of a a sticky point with people. Like, what is this modification of the mind thing? Like when we are in yoga and we think of a modification, it's like, oh, well, I have, warrior pose, but I'm going to modify it, um, to minimize the levers or something like that. So, what could mental modifications be?
Right.
And I think the easiest way to kind of think of it is it's a pattern, or like a computer program. Like you have a computer program for Word, and you have a computer program that's different for like math. And so if it was the brain, that would be the different ways that the brain can think. So the mental modifications are like the thinking patterns, or patterns that the brain follows.
Mm. And then those are painful and painless. And so the Swami Satchidananda's the understanding is, so some are selfish, some are selfless. And that's the big difference of painful and painless. It's interesting. I mean, what do you think about it?
Well, I don't know that I would go so far as to define every thought as selfish or selfless,
Mm-hmm.
and that being what causes me pain or does not cause me pain. But I definitely buy into that a thought can be painful or it can be painless. It can be hurtful or it can be helpful. And it could be the same thought, and in different circumstances or different times of your life, it could have a totally different effect on you,
Right.
So that's I'm trying to think of an example, and I guess I guess an example would be, an idea of being pretty, oh, I'm pretty today, and one day that makes me feel good. And then another day, I may not be able to perceive myself as pretty. So then that concept of prettiness and judging myself by a physical appearance is not, it's a way of thinking, And sometimes it can be positive for me, and sometimes it can be negative. Sometimes it's a motivation to maybe eat better or to take care of myself. And sometimes it's just overwhelming and depressing because, like, if there's some goal that has to be achieved in the realm of prettiness, I may never get there, you know? So I definitely understand how a thought can be painful or painless, but I would say that that whole concept there of prettiness is, and the way that I was using it is a selfish thing. But I think that you can have selfish thoughts and they're not all painful, but maybe that also could be an issue with translation, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because my
Mm-hmm.
concept of what selfish or selfless is may be different than Satchidananda.
Yeah, so the prettiness, you pick example. I mean, probably someday you feel pretty, someday not so much, or quite steadily, same way. It's everybody different, but I think it's sometimes like take a moment because we are living in a busy life that's sometimes crazy, especially these days. And this yoga practice slow us down and observe how the mental things going to, you said the patterns.
Mm.
So how you fractuating. So I think yoga practice is very helpful and valuable to observe your patterns or your thoughts moving.
I think that you hit the button there. Like, that is the main point, and that is the real gem of this first book in the beginning of the Sutras of Patanjali, is this whole idea of, you know, you are not your thoughts, and that your thoughts actually follow patterns, you know. And if you can look at your thoughts and identify like what the pattern is, it's very alleviating. Like, so I'm in the process of starting to move house, and so it's overwhelming, you know, and I find myself worrying. But when I recognize, oh, I'm worrying, and that's just an imagination. That's a negative imagination. You know, that's what that is. That's what kind of thought that is. Knowing that is, it's so, it frees me. It like frees me from the worry. And then it also makes it easier to stop when I recognize it again coming back. So yeah, those patterns and the ways of thinking, just being able to observe them, that's the golden ticket right there.
Okay,
That's a
cool.
practice of yoga.
Right, right. And then, so the following number 6 is now they're saying 5. So modifications. So they are right knowledge, misconception, verbal delusion, sleep, and memory. So like 5 things. It's a little what? Right knowledge at the top. But so let's talk about next time.
Okay, yeah, that 5 is a little steep to dive into. The next time we'll start with number 1 and we'll see how far we get. Maybe we'll get halfway through, maybe just one at a time.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Rie.
Thank you, Yaco. This was a fun chat.
Yeah,
Made
very
me
fun
feel
chat.
better about my day. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye, dear.